Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Khurshid Law Chamber, UK. Today I'd like to discuss about claim asylum in the UK. First, I'd like to say something about what is asylum or refugee or protection claim. Um, Asylum is a claim by a person to be recognized as a refugee under the Refugee Convention on the basis that it would be contrary to the United Kingdom's obligation under the Refugee Convention for them to be removed from or required to leave the United Kingdom. All asylum applications will be determined by the Home Secretary in accordance with the Refugee Convention and the immigration rules. You must apply for asylum if you want to stay in the UK as a refugee. So now I think you have understand what is the asylum, how if you can very shortly says that it is a claim by a person to be recognized as a refugee under the Refugee Convention. The purpose of the asylum claim, the purpose for asylum claim to protect yourself or all persons fleeing conflict and persecution. If you have a fear of persecution, then it is the route that will protect you from the persecution. The purpose of asylum claim is to protect yourself from the persecution of your own country. Refugees are in extremely vulnerable circumstances, lacking the protection of their own countries and facing immense challenges to their safety and well-being. So if you are a refugee, you are really in a vulnerable situation because you're not getting enough protection of your life from your own country. And refugee status means someone is protected by the Refugee Convention. If you are protected by the Refugee Convention, then your status will be a refugee and you will be called refugee. When you can stay in the UK as a refugee, or the eligibility to claim a refugee or asylum. To stay in the UK as a refugee, you must be unable to live safely in any part of your own country because you fear persecution there. This persecution must be because of your race, your religion, your nationality, your political opinion, anything else that puts you at risk because of the social, cultural, religious, or political situation in your country. For example, your gender identity, or sexual orientation. You must have failed to get protection from authorities in your own countries. So there is 5 grounds for claiming asylum: a race, religion, nationality, political opinion, or any other things which will put you risk because of the social or religious or political situation in your country. How to register your asylum claim? You register your asylum claim at a screening. This is a meeting with the immigration officer where you tell them about your case. Screening at the UK border. You can be screened at the UK border. If you claim asylum upon arrival in the UK, you must tell the UK border agency or immigration officer. They will screen you and register your asylum claim. If you fail to claim asylum in the UK border and you already lived entered in the UK, after arrival in the UK, for example, you have been given the leave to enter, you are already in the UK with a visa, then before expiry of your visa, anytime you can claim asylum by making an appointment. There's a screening line 0300 123 4193. You need to call this number to book an appointment. At the appointment, you have to attend for screening. If your visa is already expired, still you can claim the asylum if you legally arrived in the UK, but it's not advisable as your credibility will be questioned if you claim asylum late or after expiry of your visa. Who can be included in your claim? You can include your partner and children in your claim if they are with you in the UK. How long it takes? you should be granted asylum as soon as possible. However, after 5 months or after 6 months, if you're not heard any response from the Home Office, you can make a request for update. What documents you need? You need your passport or travel documents, and your identification or relationship requirement documents like your identity cards, birth and marriage certificates, and school records if it is related to you. Proof of your UK address if you're already in the UK and claiming asylum after you live in the UK, and anything you think will help your application, you have to provide supporting documents. When the asylum application will be treated as withdrawn explicitly by request, you can request by making a email them that you want to withdraw your asylum claim, or it can be withdrawn implicitly. For example, you leave the UK. If you leave the UK anytime and you then your asylum claim will be withdrawn. Even if you grant the asylum, then if you go to your own country while you claiming asylum, because you cannot go back to your own country, fear of persecution. Now, after granting asylum, if you go back to your country, your asylum will be revoked. And for withdrawal purpose, if you fails to maintain the contract, if you don't give the updated contract to the Home Office, or you fail to attend any reporting appointment, or you fail to attend any interview, in that case also your asylum will be implicitly withdrawn. How long you'll be granted permission to stay in the UK? If you are granted as an asylum seeker, normally you'll be granted 5 years as an asylum seeker or a refugee. However, even if you're not granted as a refugee, still you can be granted as a humanitarian protection. Certain circumstances, for example, the 5 reasons for asylum under the refugee convention. If you don't fall one of that, but if you are still a risk that if you go back to your country of origin, there is a real risk that you will be subject to torture, illegal or inhumane treatment, ill treatment, or life risk. The signatory country of the refugee convention still will grant you leave to remain, but this is not under the refugee convention, but you'll be granted humanitarian convention, especially in the UK. And now, what is the refugee convention? In July 1951, a diplomatic conference in Geneva adopted the convention relating to the status of refugees. It has since been subject to only one amendment in the form of the 1967 protocol. The 1951 convention provides the internationally recognized definition of a refugee and outlines the legal protection, rights, and assistance a refugee is entitled to receive. So under the convention, it is defined who is eligible to claim asylum, and what is their legal protection, what is the rights, and what is the obligation to the signatory countries. The core principle of the 1951 convention is non-refoulement. What does it mean? It means that a refugee should not be returned to a country where they face serious threats to their life or freedom. So if you claim asylum, and you should not be returned to your own country unless there is no basis of your claim. The document outlines the basic minimum standards for the treatment of refugees, including the right to housing, work, and education while displaced, so they can lead to a dignified and independent life. It also defines a refugee's obligation to host countries and specifies certain categories of people, such as war criminals, who do not qualify for refugee status. See, if you have done any crime to your country, for example, you have done thief, we murdered someone illegally, then you here to claim asylum, no, it will not be granted, it will be excluded. In addition, it details the legal obligation of the states that are party to one or both of these instruments. So there is also the obligations for the the states parties or signatory parties. I'm going to tell you some basic question and answer now about the asylum or refugee. Under the Refugee Convention, the definition of refugee is, under Article 1 of the 1951 Convention, defines a refugee as someone who, owing to well-founded fear of being persecuted for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion, is outside the country of their nationality and is unable, or owing to such fear, is unwilling to avail themselves of the protection of that country, or who, not having a nationality, for example, stateless person, and being outside the country of their former habitual residence, is unable, or owing to such fear, is unwilling to return to it. So if you are real, if you believe that there is a real risk of persecution in your own country because of your race, religion, nationality, particular social membership, or political opinion, then you are unable to, or you have such owing fear that you are unwilling to go back to your country. In same to if someone is stateless person, but if living in a habitual residence where he was used to live, but not belongs to the country, but still if the person is fears such a fear that unwilling to return to it, then it's meeting the definition of refugee under the Refugee Convention. Now, why do refugees need protection? Normally, states are responsible for protecting the fundamental human rights of their citizens. It is the duty of every state to protect their citizens' rights. When the states are unable or unwilling to do so, often for political reasons based on discrimination or due to conflict, violence, and other circumstances seriously disturbing public order, individuals may suffer such serious violations of their human rights that they must leave their homes, their families, and their communities to find sanctuary in another country. So if you are in a situation that you will not get protection from your own country to save your basic human rights, and you leaving your country to seeking a safe country, since by definition refugees are not protected by their own governments. So you must not be protected by your own government to be eligible for refugee. The international community steps in to ensure that you are safe and protected. Countries that have signed the 1951 conventions are eligible to protect refugees on their territory and treat them according to internationally recognized standards. So if any signatory country, they have the obligation to treat the asylum seekers or refugee persons, treat them according to the international standards, save their rights, and protect them sufficiently. Which countries are party to the 1951 Convention? As to date, 149 states are parties to the 1951 Conventions and or 1967 protocols, including. Does the refugee also have obligation? Yes. If you are a refugee, you are required to abide by the laws and regulations of their country of asylum and respect measures taken for the maintenance of public order. You must follow the law and order of the country you are claiming asylum. Can someone be excluded from refugee protection? Yes. The 1951 Convention only protects persons who meet the criteria for refugee status. Certain categories of people are considered not to deserve refugee protection and should be excluded from such protection. This includes persons for whom there are serious reasons to suspect that they have committed a crime against peace, a war crime, or a crime against humanity. They have committed a serious non-political crime outside their country of refugee prior to the admission to that country as a refugee. So before the country you are seeking asylum, if you have done serious crime to your own country, then you are excluded. or if you are guilty of acts contrary to the purpose and principles of the United Nations, then you are also excluded from the refugee protection. So that's the answers I have given you under the Refugee Convention and under the immigration rules of the UK. So under UK immigration rules, there is a procedure how to register your claim and what will be the procedure to assess your claim and what you'll be granted, what standard of evidence you are required to provide in support of your claim. You need to get ready for that as well. If you need any further advice in regards to the asylum claim, you can contact us, Khurshid Law Chamber UK, 37 New Road, London, U11HE. You can contact us by mobile number. As you know that the UK code number is 0044. Then our mobile number is 7828694424. Email info@khurshidlawchamberuk.com. You can visit our website www.khurshidlawchamberuk.com. If you'd like to personally visit us, you must make an appointment prior to arrival. Initial charge for 30 minutes appointment is £50, but you must make an appointment before come to our office. Thank you so much for watching today's asylum related discussion, and I hope everyone will be benefited from this short discussion. Thank you so much. Bye bye.